So hi everyone, hope you're doing really well. Welcome to this video. So the question is then, how do you find an area within an area? And what I'm going to try and do is illustrate that research using an area that I know very well, which is Northampton. And I'm going to look for properties for sale, Northampton, Northamptonshire. I'm looking for 3-bedroomed properties. If you're not sure why, please see the link in the description below. I've covered that before. I'm looking for houses, and I don't mind if they are sold subject to contract. And you can see we've now got over 800 results. But the thing is, I'm not looking for just any 3-bed property. I need a terraced property because they represent the best value for money. You'll always pay more for a semi and always pay more again for a detached. I also need to consider that the property is not new home, retirement home or buying schemes, but because we are going to be renting out to a family, I do need a garden, and you can see that halves the results. Now what that does then on this map is it shows me where all the 3-bed terraced properties with gardens are in Northampton, but that is just far too much stock to go at. How do I find an area within an area? And the first thing I'm going to do is I need to find the cheaper properties. There's no point spending £500,000 on a property when I might be able to buy one for half that, say £250,000. So I'm just going to come down to £250,000. Even that is too many. There's just too many. What I'm looking for are basically core areas where the cheaper properties exist. And you can see I'm working down. You can work up, go from the lowest to the most expensive. But you can already begin to see I've got a little group over here. I've got a collection in the middle, I've got a collection down here, some over towards Darlington, and I've got a collection up here and also here. But that's also too many, so I'm going to come down to 210. Probably a bit too many again. I'll go down one more. So 220, now 210. What does 200 look like? Okay, yeah, that's fine. So 200, 210. Let's go for 200, shall I, just for sake of argument. Now what you can see now is these areas are where the cheaper properties are. And what I can see is there's basically an area over here. There's one or two scattered. It's not really, they're not sufficiently close enough. There's a cluster here. There's a cluster up here. I've got a cluster here in Similong. I've got a cluster here down towards Far Cotton, a cluster here over towards Darlington, and a cluster over here towards Hunsbury Hill. Now, one of the things I do want to always make sure is that there are properties that are Victorian stock, and that means they are in laddered streets. They're parallel streets with crossroads and T-junctions. So here, this is perfect. These sort of streets, same here, you can see them here, same here, Similong, same here. If I come down to Delapre, if they populate, not over here towards Hunsbury Hill, but yes, over here towards Darlington, and not so much over here towards Great Billing, Retford Farm, the Goldings. So the question is though still, do I go for this area here, here, or over here? And the answer is, what you need to do to make sure that you're really choosing a good area for potential, both long-term capital appreciation but also rental demand, is you want to see where other people are going to be investing their money, people or organisations. And what you can do is you can go into Google, and whatever area you are, you just type in local area development plan Northampton or local area development plan Norfolk or wherever you might be. Put local area development plan or local area development plan map or local plan, something like that. And every council should have their local area development plan accessible to the public. And it will show you where regeneration plans, where they have set out their plans, what they're going to do in their area for the next 10 years, typically. If you go into Northampton one, here's the Northampton local plan. It's quite hard, it's very archaic. They're all very different, by the way. I haven't seen two that are the same. And it will give you these keys and show you what's been allocated for what. So the brown ones are for housing developments. This orange one down here is this transport link into the Northampton station, and areas of conservation and so forth. What is interesting about Northampton is it's got its own website, We Are Northampton, and it shows you on here the current regeneration projects. There are £33 million worth of funding that's gone into a number of projects across Northampton, and you can see them here. If you want to have a look, please do. I'll leave the link in the description. the Black Lion pub, and also the phase 2 of the train station. But what they've also done very helpfully is they've put those sites onto a Google map. And one thing that's very interesting, so I keep this this view here, is you can see that all the investments are quite close together. This is really interesting. See, someone here says this is a good idea to convert these commercial buildings, the M&S and BHS stores, into residential apartments. It's also interesting that the Derngate has been done. The Market Square is expecting to receive 8.4 million of development. The Black Lion pub here is going to receive 2.3 million, and there's going to be another 9 million Mayfair waterside development over here towards the train station, which itself is going to have a phase 2 development, having had phase 1 completed. So I would already, just by looking at this plan at this scale, when I go to the map on Rightmove, I'm not really sure I want to be putting my money over here. One, it's not even the streets of right, and two, it's far away from where the council has decided to invest £33 million. These areas are definitely going to be better. I would even say over here towards Kingsley Park, even though it's perfect ladder streets, it's not really ideal. And even the ones up here towards Kingsthorpe, not really ideal. But these ones round here, I would say are very good. So Similong, I would say Far Cotton, because you've got the road access to the train station, which is here. I'd also want to be considering around here this area of Dallington. So look at where other people are going to be investing their money, and that should influence 1, 2, 3 areas that you really like and you should be considering further. What you can do once you've done that is then Google development or investment in Similong, or investment or development or plans for regeneration plans for Far Cotton, and so on. And you can get more information, more granular information for a very specific area rather than Northampton as a town as a whole. Now, one thing for you, if you're beginning, say you've done less than 20 viewings, it means that you haven't got a huge amount of experience, and that's okay because we're all starting at the same position. But if you are, and you have identified that actually, for sake of argument, Far Cotton is going to be my preferred number 1 area, Similong is going to be my second preferred area, and these properties over here towards Dallington are going to be my third preferred area, what you want to do is not go and view those properties. And that might sound quite counterintuitive, in fact somewhat ridiculous. What I really would do is go and choose an area, say over towards here, the Goldings or Rectory Farm, and go and do some viewings of properties you absolutely almost certainly are not going to want. And that means you get your repetitions in, you get your phone calls in, you get your registering, you get your questioning, you get your feedback in. You make basically all your mistakes in an area where it doesn't matter. If you find something's really good and you actually don't want it, you can always set it on, or if you think it's actually brilliant, buy it. But get your experience in an area that doesn't really matter, and then go to your third preferred area, and then go to your second preferred area, and by the time you come to your number 1 preferred area, you can use lines like, well, I've done 50 viewings now, and I'm really interested in 3-bed terrace properties here because, and you come across as far more credible and therefore believable, and therefore you're taken more seriously, and that gives you better opportunities than if you go and walk in and make all your mistakes in your preferred area. There's some of our thoughts, but I really do think when we're thinking about property investing, where we're going to be putting our money to get a return, it makes sense to be considering where other people and other organisations are going to be investing, and that should give us a guide to finding an area within an area. I hope you found that helpful. Let us know any thoughts or questions in the comments. Look forward to seeing you in the next one.